morning. I'm Mr. Priester, Deputy Superintendent, Richmond County Schools System. On this morning at approximately 8:15 a.m., we were made aware of a thread on Facebook toward Butler High School in the Academy of Richmond County. Richmond County Board of Education Police Department was immediately beginning the investigation, and as a result, a female high school student was arrested as a primary suspect. She admitted to posting a prank threat by creating a Facebook page through a spoofing app. The student involved will be charged with disrupting public school. The investigation is ongoing, and other students who participated in the prank may also face charges. Threats of this nature are taken seriously and are all safety-related matters of the school system. Prank threats create disruption in the schools and the community. We are asking parents to speak with their children about the dangers of posting prank social media posts and how it creates an unsafe environment during the school day. Thank you.
Good morning. Once we were made aware and immediately contacted by the Richmond County Board of Education, as always, Richmond County Sheriff's Office conducted a joint investigation into the threats against any of our school system and personnel. Those efforts were coordinated immediately through my office and the Board of Education's office, my own Chief Wade, primary investigators. As we know that the threat had went over to multiple locations, so additional resources from the Sheriff's Office were immediately dispatched to both of those locations, and then also assisting investigators trying to find the origin of the threats. As we speak, and as the superintendent has stated, we're still trying to track down the original origin of the threat to see if there's any more threats to public safety. Right now, we do feel we have the situation well in hand. Additional personnel from the Richmond County Sheriff's Office will continue to provide auxiliary support to the Board of Education throughout the day until we're confident that there's no longer a threat to the school system or the public safety. As always, we ask that the public trust us to take control of these situations and handle them with care, to the fact that parents responding to the location sometimes hinder the investigation by not allowing emergency personnel to arrive and conduct the investigation to its fullest. So we ask that the parents please be patient. We're aware of these threats, and we're providing every resource we possibly can to identify and eliminate any potential threat to any school system or school personnel. Again, this is just another collaborative effort, immediately a joint operation between two agencies, which we've done multiple times in the past, to resolve this situation as quickly as possible. So we want to assure the public that we do have the situation well in hand, but we will investigate it to its total conclusion to make sure there's no outstanding threats. And we'll still stand by and be ready to assist throughout the week or throughout the rest of the school year as requested by the Board of Education. Thank you.
Questions for Mr. Priester?
How would you guys like parents to respond? I know the sheriff just talked about sometimes when people rush to the school, it causes chaos, but parents worried about their children are going to react in that way. But how would you guys recommend that parents respond when things like this happen?
I would recommend that parents give the school system and the police department an opportunity to investigate the threat to see whether or not it's credible, and at which point we can provide information through our communications department on how to proceed if the threat is credible, and to trust us to know that we are doing our jobs.
Where was the student when you guys figured out who it was?
The student is actually not a student either at Butler or the Academy of Richmond County. The student is actually a student at another location, and that information will come forth at a later date.
Okay, but in the Richmond County school system?
Yes.
In high school?
Yes.
Okay.
One of the person's name on the thread was the principal of Butler High School. How is she handling the situation? Have you talked to her yet?
Yes, we've talked to her. We've been in contact with her through one of our associate deputy superintendents, not deputy superintendent, but associate superintendents, and she's doing fine. She was real supportive, and she was real helpful in this process in making sure that the school remained safe and making sure that she did everything she could to help us resolve this matter.
Is this the first threat you guys have had against the schools in this first half of the school year?
At this level, it is. We've had other minor threats, which we kind of resolved to indicate that they were not credible threats, but at this level, the threat was so it was so threatening that we want to make sure that we involved the Richmond County Sheriff's Department to help us to resolve the matter, and they did a good job, as Sheriff did say, with our collaborative effort with our police department, that we resolved the matter.
How do you make
quickly.
that determining factor to get them involved?
They're always there. You know, we don't have to really make that determinant. They always call. Matter of fact, I was on a phone call with him, and one of the chief's assistants actually called to see how they can support. So once it goes public, you know, most of the police departments kind of see how they can support the school at that point.
Do you expect to have continual increased security today and tomorrow?
Yes, we will. We will have additional resource officers at both locations, and with the sheriff's department, I'm sure they're going to help support us with that, just as he said in his
Just those two schools or any other schools?
Right now, it's just those two schools.
And I was over at Richmond Academy earlier talking with a parent who came to pick up their kid, and he was talking, you know, about just the chaos inside, and I know that you addressed all the parents rushing over there and how that can add to that, but he said there was only one person sitting there checking people out. Is there anything in the future as far as communication and worrying about when things like this happen and they want to get their children out that y'all are looking at or thinking about?
Yes, I'm not, you know, familiar exactly what happened in there, what the parent talked about, but we'll make sure that there are protocols in place to expedite the matter if that's, you know, hindered the parent from checking out their child in a timely manner.
Columbia County Schools told us that they were investigating a threat as well. Are you guys working with them?
I'm not
linked at
familiar.
all?
I'm not familiar with that at this time.
Is the student in custody of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office or?
With us?
Can I ask him a question?
No.
No? Okay. How do you guys train, I guess, for your BOE police to kind of be prepared for something like this to happen? What are they told to do inside those doors when they're made aware of a threat?
The Richmond County Police Department do receive training with verbal threats. Actually, I think Lieutenant Jackson actually does that. He not only does it with the Richmond County Police Department, but also with all the staff. They're required to go through that type of training earlier this year.
Is there a number amount that they're supposed to do each year, quarterly, something like that?
In reference to what?
Trainings for these kind of events.
Actually, we do it annually. Yes.
And how are the teachers and students in these two high schools handling the situation?
I am not familiar with that at this time, but we will look into
And it's supposed to go normal?
At this time, we have actually lifted the public safety alert since we did catch the student, and today we're going as normal with additional resource officers still on site.
How do you notify parents of that it's been lifted? Is it just by email?
As soon as we finish here, what we normally do is send out the communication through the communication department, email blast on our social media sites indicating, let them know exactly what the status is at this time.
And the email and social media you found is the best way to get in contact with all of them?
And we also do a calling post, yes. And then we'll send letters home with all the students before the end of the day.
This might be for you, Sheriff. I mean, either can answer this. We see these happen, and we see students face serious criminal charges because of stuff like this. It's not funny, not a joke, but yet these things keep happening. What do you say to these young individuals? I know their brains are still, you know, getting developed, but what do you say to these young individuals about things like this that, like you guys said, just aren't funny?
Yeah, absolutely, especially in today's climate, and we've seen lesson after lesson of how tragic these situations can be. And that's why we take every one of them as seriously as we possibly can. And our message is to any juvenile, any individual, if you do anything to disrupt the public school system, you're providing an unsecure environment for everyone involved, and not just a classmate or a particular school. As you said, right now these two schools are named individually, but it affects the entire school system. It also affects the entire county. And I don't think they see the ramifications of once you live in an environment where you feel unsafe throughout the county, then that jeopardizes the safety of many, many people. So that's how serious it goes. It's not just a threat against the school. It's a threat against the safety and security of the whole community. And that's what the individuals need to understand. And that's why we are so diligently pursue these cases. And we take every threat as seriously as possible, and the charges can be made. In every case, we're going to make those charges.
What will she be charged with?
Right now, as we still continuing the investigation, right now it's just Richmond Public School, but again, those charges may elevate, maybe more additional subjects may be identified. But as we identify them and go forward, we'll release different information. But every applicable charge based on this situation that can be applied to any person involved will be rendered against them.
Final questions? Everybody good?
Just to be clear, one student, possibly more out there.
One student is in custody right now, and like I said, we are going to investigate it along with the Board of Education until we make sure we have no outstanding people that we feel are a threat to this to the public.
And he's in custody of Board of Education right now?
At the present time, that's correct.
I do. The app, is it something that other parents can look on their kids' phones, be aware of this app? or maybe acts like it? Did it have a specific name or?
We're investigating that at this time, and
Okay.
as soon as we find other information, we can provide that probably to the parents as a notification, let them know this is the particular app that you may want to look for in your student's phone.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it.
One last thing I do want to say, breaking on her question too, as a matter of public safety, we're talking about parents arriving to the school system, thinking about the safety of their children. And I went to a recent training, and sometimes parents don't realize in their haste to go and pick up their children that they may be diverting from resources that we're trying to get into the school system, for as traffic, for as access to the school, for as searching. So I know that they think that they're going to render aid to their child and put them in a safe environment, but sometimes those actions can actually make the situation a lot worse or a lot more dangerous. And that's why we're asking the parents to trust us, that's why we train, that's why we coordinate. But that effort may stall us from allowing emergency personnel to arrive on scene, traffic, resources coming, and I don't think they realize that at the time. So we use these lessons, and fortunately this is not turned into a tragic situation, but we should have used it as a lesson to learn that if we do have a situation that's of an enhanced nature, that they allow emergency personnel complete access to resolve the situation. And then, of course, we will allow them to reunite with their children in the safest and quickest manner possible.
Thank you, guys.